to the Hazbin Hotel, a misguided path to redemption!
Can you believe it? After so many years, Hazbin Hotel finally released. With 8 episodes, what all do we have, what is the future, and what's all the fuss about? Also a short thing about this Android drawing tablet by XPPen. So join me, Ryan, as we talk about Hazbin Hotel. I mean, that's what the video's about. Truth be told, for better or for worse, I do like Hazbin Hotel, and its sister show Hell of a Boss. In fact, I'm always happy when an animated YouTuber gets a show. The Annoying Orange, Oddballs, Yellow Crystal Fantasy, Smiling Friends, Koala Man, Final Space, and now Hazbin Hotel. Though, interesting side note, out of all these shows, Hazbin is the only one where the creator doesn't voice the main character. Nothing else to note, that was funny. Speaking of characters, let's go down a short list before we get to the story. Charlie's the Princess of Hell and runs the Hazbin Hotel. Vaggy's her girlfriend, general supporter of her endeavors. Andrew Dust is the first resident of the hotel and is known for being a porn star. Husk is the weird bartender, Nifty being the maid. Serpentious would be the second resident of the hotel. And Alistair the radio demon supports the hotel for unknown reasons.
Come now, Alistair, she's much too young for you. Oh, I'm just kidding. I know you're an ace in the hole.
A what now?
What's interesting about the queer rep in the show is that it starts with Charlie and Vaggy already being together. This might be a weird thing to think about, but when's the last time in an animated show have you seen the gay lead already have a partner? You know, instead of looking for one. On top of my head, there's Q-Force, Harley Quinn, and Edia all have main characters on the lookout for a lover. Okay, there's Garnet from Steven Universe, but that's one person. They're two separate people that are together, but not in a one-person kind of way. Anyway, I had to go all the way back to 2007 to find Rick and Steve, the happiest gay couple in all the world. A series which would already have the main characters already be together. Nothing else besides that, I guess. I just want to mention it, and also mention that series no one's probably heard about. But moving on. As for the other characters, there's quite a bit of them. This would be considered an ensemble cast. I mean, the premise involves a hotel wanting to rehabilitate people, so there should be said people to run the hotel, and be in it. But an issue I had with the pilots would be the fact that there are too many characters the show wants to focus on. With only 8 episodes, well, 9, actually. The characters are essentially fighting for screen time, with Andrew Dust and Serpentious getting more of an arc than even Charlie and Vaggy combined. Back in my pilot review, I said the series seemed to be focused on setting up characters more than focusing on the story. I did see a comment saying that's literally what the pilot is doing, so I want to reiterate and try and better formulate my words 5 years later. Bit late on that. With the show having 22-minute episodes, it just isn't enough time for all these characters to be fleshed out. With the fear of cancellations, perhaps this was written with the idea that season 1 would be all that they would get, only to find out halfway through production they'd be getting season 2. As yes, season 2 was announced and being written before the first ever came out. So I will give some leeway that if they had known the knowledge of the second season around the corner, we would probably get better character motivation for all these characters. But so it kind of feels like, well, here's all my cool characters, I want all of them to share equal screen time, which probably would be achievable if they were even just 30-minute episodes. Not to mention the fact that there were writers and actor strikes that had to delay the show itself and possible rewrites of dialogue that needed to be done. I should point out this time that the pilot is still required viewing even for this new show. As per vivziepop's word, it's still canon, apart from visual changes. I mean, episode 1 already has them at the hotel, already announced. Now, this is a bit of a weird move. A newcomer of the show having to go off-platform consume a vital piece of media before coming back and watching the actual show. Bean Puppycat actually had this issue too. Their second season was supposed to be on the same platform as the first, until it disappeared forever. So they had to ask for additional episodes to remake season 1 in order for people to consume the story all in one place. I made a good video about it, go watch it after this one. So going back to the idea that this might be the only season, it actually feels more complete than its sister show Hell of a Boss. At the very least, just with one season. But before we get into that, I gotta talk about a tablet, a drawing one. I was sent the Magic Pad by XPPen and have been using it as an iPad replacement for over a week. Comparatively, it's hard to go toe to toe with iPad and Android because of the applications and what you really want to use it for, you know? The base model iPad 10.9 inch with a case and pencil straight from their website is $831.97 USD, while the Magic Pad already comes with those things, and depending on your area, has free shipping for $500. The free shipping isn't $500, I mean the whole thing in one package is $500. The Android tablet is focused on drawing, while the iPad is focused on content consumption. I mean, when directly comparing the screens, you'll notice the iPad is very glossy, while the Magic Pad has a matte finish. This is due to the anti-glare, anti-fingerprint screen. It's also to note that this tablet is rated with 82% of the Adobe RGB color range, and for the iPad, I couldn't find Adobe certification, nor for the pressure levels, weirdly enough. Oh, okay, the Magic Pad is rated for over 16,000 pressure levels, which is pretty cool. Throwing up more spec comparisons, if you're getting into art, I can see XPPen's offering as a great Apple alternative, if not just getting that first. Not just for the price, but also the freedom of apps. Downloading apps. Either an emulation for gaming or finding free ways to get Clip Studio Paint on your system. With this being a dedicated drawing tablet, you can literally take it anywhere on the go. The difficult thing when it comes to finding a portable drawing tablet in this range is being shown products with low pressure levels or just very expensive. For this drawing tablet to be $500 for all you get, it's really a good deal. And it's something I rarely see in the art space. So if it was one criticism, I'd probably get the physical side of this tablet. Add a kickstand. Not like a separate kickstand, but I mean like the built-in case should have a kickstand. Overall, if you're looking for an Apple alternative, I would highly recommend this drawing tablet. Go get it today. Go to the website or go check my description for the links you can see. Alright, in this next section, I'm going to talk all about spoilers, so if you want to avoid that while you're watching this video. Charlie, the daughter of Satan and Lilith, Adam's first wife, created essentially a rehab hotel in order to get sinners to heaven. This is due in part to angels sending out exorcists to kill demons as a genocide because they fear of an uprising from the underworld. Starting with the first episode of the Amazon series, in a meeting with the angel Adam and his sidekick Lut, they really don't care about Charlie and says no to the hotel. At the end of this episode, it's revealed that an angel was killed by a demon, and Adam wants revenge for this. Publicly, the yearly purge has been shortened down to 6 months, and privately, they're doing something. In episode 2, the V's, consisting of Vox, Valentino, and Velvet, find out that Alistair returns, they send Serpentius to get during the hotel. He fails almost immediately. In episode 3, the Overlords talk and find an angel killed, but same one mentioned before. Zestial says the war between heaven and hell would just cause more deaths, so they won't do anything about it, which is a bit weird to say as there's a genocide going on. The response of, let's not fight back, just let the genocide keep going, is awful, especially when some of these people literally sell weapons and demons and sinners kill each other anyway. If there's less people, there's less to sell to, so there is still some capitalistic motivation because hell has money, of course. But it's revealed that Carmilla killed the angel, and one of Serpentius' eggs tells him and Alistair. Episode 4 focuses on Angel Dust and Valentino, as well as Husk better understanding Angel Dust. Episode 5 has Charlie trying to find a way to talk to Heaven again, which as mentioned before, she doesn't mention to anyone that Adam said no. Like, they just do trust exercises and they all just say, well, this is what works. Anyway, her dad Lucifer shows up and he finds with Alistair. And at the end of the episode, her dad arranges a meeting with Heaven. But it's not actually a meeting, as episode 6, it's just a court scene for a lot of it. Going to heaven, we see a short song about how cool it is up there, and we focus back on Angel Dust and his friends in the court scene. It turns out no one in heaven knows why people get sent there. Meg is revealed to be an angel, with her and Charlie leaving heaven. The second reveals that the genocides in hell were never known by most of heaven's population, and one specific angel specifically hates that, the genocides. That would be Emily, who kind of looks like Charlie, and maybe the next Lucifer, in terms of falling from heaven, because she said, don't do that, don't do the genocides. And we don't actually see the rest of heaven reacting outside the court scene. Episode 7, Charlie and Alistair go to Cannibal Town to recruit people for an epic fight, while Vaggie talks of Camilla on how to kill exterminators, but not before making do with Alistair to get this information. Something the eggs already knew and told Serpentius. Okay, didn't have to do that, I guess. Episode 8 is a big fight with Adam and the exorcist attacking the hotel. Serpentius professes his love to Cherry Bomb, then dies in an unremarkable way. It's a very weird mix to him dying as a joke, with the characters treating it as a serious moment, when moments before is just to get the audience to laugh. It feels like they wanted to keep treating him as a joke character, despite him having a clear defined arc throughout the show, if not the largest in the series as a whole. Adam defeats Alistair, Vaggie tears off Lut's arm, grants her mercy, then Lut immediately attacks her again. This probably would have been more impactful if she didn't return, or this happened way later in the episode. Charlie's being overpowered by Adam, but thanks to Lucifer, he swoops in to save everyone. I should mention that Lucifer doesn't have an in-world reason why he didn't show up until then. I mean, it's like, hello, I'm back. Adam dies and the hotel is rebuilt. Serpentius arrives in heaven, thus proving that sinners can be redeemed. Lut confronts Lilith, Charlie's mom. If she wants to stay in heaven, she must go confront her daughter. And that's basically the show. Alright, now that we're done with the recap, I can go a bit more into what I liked and what I disliked about the show. And if you're loving this video, be sure to like and subscribe, as well as hit the bell for notifications. And go check out my other show, Bad Take Delete. If there's an episode of Hazbin Hotel where they have to rehabilitate Hitler, will you watch that episode?
Well, I already said yes.
The animation's very nice, and simplifying the characters made them a lot more appealing. Like Husk formerly having pips, the small symbols on playing cards now are just dots. Makes it way easier for the animators to actually keep track of the characters' cover designs. I also love the musical numbers, and can probably see myself singing them in a long car ride, or just in general. Overall, the voice cast did a very good job with their respective dialogue, as well as singing. Going back to Husk, I was sad he didn't really sing as much, but I'm sure Keith David is one expensive fella.
Baby, play your card, be who you are. A loser, just like.
There he is! They're fucking singing!
Or even the lead from Beetlejuice the Musical, Alex Brightman, as Adam.
Can't wait a whole year to slaughter those little. I know it's just been a week, but we'll be back in 6 months!
The next part I'm about to talk about is a bit hard to watch, so skip to the next section if you don't want to see it. In episode 4, there's a scene between Angel Dust and Valentino. It is a depiction of ownership, domestic abuse, with implied sexual assault. It is an intense scene between the two, one that got leaked and talked about on Twitter. Some had claimed this glorified sexual and domestic abuse, while also saying that a storyboard artist somehow got their fetish within the show. Both would be farther from the truth. vivziepop and some of her crew are sexual assault survivors, mentioning this in response to people on threads, citing the artist had no control what happened in the episode. episode. There is no perfect way to talk about subjects like this, and everyone's experience is different. So to assume that one sneaky artist somehow got their fetish in the story is ridiculous and insulting, especially for the fact that they weren't even on the writing team. However, I will say it did take the show a full week before actually putting a warning for the depictions. This topic is difficult to discuss and not often shown in the media. I'm glad to see the show trying to do so in mainstream platforms such as Amazon Prime. Although it's hard to watch, it is necessary to tell these kinds of stories.
I didn't want you to come here. I already asked you to leave and you didn't listen. You made things worse.
I just wanted to help you.
Well, you ain't. You actually want to help me? Get the fuck out of here.
The overarching story was compelling, and I did want to see what happened next. So much so, I'm very excited for season 2. Overall, it would be something I would recommend to people, especially for the musical aspects. And as I mentioned before in the video, the story seems complete. Like, if you just watch the season, you get a satisfying conclusion. But as compared to its sister show Helluva Boss, they set up a bunch of arcs within the first season that'll maybe get resolved, which makes it hard to say that watching one season alone will give you a satisfying story. With of course cliffhangers for you to wait for. Alright, if I'm through for season 2 and I'm excited for what happens next, what issues do I actually have? Well, a big part of it would be telling and not showing. It is said a few times that Charlie has daddy issues and Angel Dust has a drug problem. That's read a whole sentence. They kind of just tell it, and you're like, you gotta remember that, you gotta remember how Angel Dust has a drug problem, but then he got over it, I guess. Much like Vaggie wanting to hide that she's an angel, it's quickly resolved in the next episode of Charlie. In fact, the denizens of the hotel get over it pretty quickly, because it doesn't really matter, I guess. Maybe it'll play more in the next season, but I mean, like, there was an ultimatum in the court scene that was like, if you side with us, we won't tell Charlie that you're an angel.
You work for me again, and at the hearing, you're gonna help me shut this kindergarten snowflake bullshit down for good.
But there's not that ultimatum, she just runs away. Oh, actually positive I will give for that is the extremely subtle foreshadowing of her being an angel. Charlie and the other demons' outlines are black, while Vaggie's is a purplish color. On the note of angels, to hide the fact you know how to kill them seems a bit contrived.
We don't want to go to war with our oppressors. Let's just keep them genociding us.
I mean, it's a weird leap in logic for a demon. Also, for heaven being a bad place, we barely get to see it. We are told it's a bad place of bad people with a bunch of rules, and you just kind of have to take their word for it. Lastly, I hope you have a notebook, because this show has a lot of characters you must remember the names of. Given enough screen time to everyone, while also getting them proper motivation, is a tough task to do. Which is why when I first heard the series is only getting 22-minute episodes, as opposed to Amazon Prime's other show, Invincible, getting 45 to 55-minute ones, I was worried. You know, that a lot of the characters would be flat or written with simplistic notes of who they are. Hence why I thought it was weird that Serpentious and Angel Dust have more defining character arcs than the main character. Charlie wants to help people of hell, that's it. I guess she just wants to do that. Perhaps if the show had another 2 episodes, allowed them to express more for the characters, we could have gotten that. And although I like the songs, with 2 of them per episode, a lot of them are weirdly placed, as if the story has to grind to a halt in order for the song to be heard.
Oh, what's the matter, Fossil? Too senile to make a real power grab?
You better show some respect!
This leads into pacing issues, which is not good, considering the little time the show has to talk about things. The series also has an issue of wanting to be serious, while also wanting to tell jokes. Mentioned before, the scene between Angel Dust and Valentino is meant to be taken seriously. But then we have the scene with Serpentious. Playing on the rule of threes, he says he wants to buy Cherry Bomb a drink, because he likes her. However, he gets nervous, and he says he wants to buy everybody a drink. On the 3rd time, he says he wants to have sex with everyone. We then see him getting dragged into a room, kicking and screaming. Alright, hold on, the joke isn't that he's being sexually assaulted, but it just looks that way. Or making a joke about Serpentious dying, but also have everyone be so sad about it.
Oh, what? That could have been ugly.
Reminds me a bit of the death of Brian Griffin. Yep, we're gonna go there. He gets run over by a car, the whole family comes running in, being sad, but then a squirrel comes in, kicks him, and says that guy sucked. However, at the very least, it was only those 2 instances within the show that caught me off guard in terms of tonal changes. However, does this make the show terrible or even bad? The difficult thing when it comes to talking about this show is the need for exaggeration, or those looking for issues within said show. Even with all the issues I have with the show, it's to understand Vivian and Adam Nalen are still novice writers, and these scripts were written many years ago. See Helluva Boss for a better sense of the current writing. I would argue for the latter half of Hazbin Hotel, the show feels like they finally found their footing, which is the case for a lot of shows. I mean, do you remember Venture Bros Season 1 versus Season 2? Whew boy. Taking into account what I disliked about the show, it is so not a bad show. If you came into it thinking it would be so bad it's good, you would be disappointed because it's just a good show, in general. Especially as mentioned before, with the pretty good LGBT rep. We have a couple like Charlie and Vaggie having a stable relationship through the entire thing, even if that little thing about, can I trust her? She didn't tell me she was an angel. She quickly got over that. There's also Angel Dust's character exploring themes hard to talk about within the community, and even with Alistair being ace, it normalizes these subjects for a mainstream audience. One that on the same platform probably just watches Reacher and maybe The Boys. All in all, I'm glad to see the show has been made, with a second and possible third season coming along. In fact, it was revealed the show had the largest global debut for an animated series on Prime Video. It's nice to see that we have indie creators working in more mainstream roles and it's inspiring for other artists on the platform. I mean, the fact that we saw Hazbin Hotel, a indie series out in Times Square as a billboard, is amazing. And even creators like vivziepop going on talk shows, that's pretty cool. While I did have my doubts about the show and how it would actually be when it came out, I'm glad they stay another day in the Hazbin Hotel to see what hell can bring us next. In the cap of this video, I asked my fans what they thought of the show.
Honestly, the show had a few issues like the pacing and songs coming out of nowhere without properly built up, but all around, it's a pretty good watch.
I'm not a fan of the musics, but love the animations and character arcs. If you put this comment in a video, please put a funny gif of a monkey.
It's extremely impressive and monumental that an indie pilot could reach getting an Amazon series. I really think it's amazing for that.
Whoa, you Hazbin Hoteled it to the end of this video. If you liked it, you should like and subscribe, maybe even leave a comment. Just one, maybe 2 comments, actually, or check out one of these other videos. That one? That one? But you can't stay here.